Dear Starseeds on Gaia, something is pressing down on you right now, and I need you to hear this before anything else. You are not imagining it. That heaviness in your chest that you woke up with this morning, the one that doesn't quite have a name, the one that isn't quite sadness, and isn't quite grief but sits somewhere between the two like fog that won't burn off. It's real. The way time feels strange this week, too slow in some moments and oddly final in others, as though certain chapters of your life are closing without your permission. That's real too. The exhaustion that no amount of sleep seems to touch, the sense that you've been carrying something invisible for days now, and you can't quite set it down. I see it. I feel it across the field, and I am here to tell you that what you are feeling is not a burden. It is evidence. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Arcturian Council and representative of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I have been waiting for this precise moment to reach you, because what is happening to you this week is not incidental, not accidental, not a malfunction of your energy field, or a sign that you've lost your footing. What is happening to you right now is one of the most carefully orchestrated passages of your entire incarnation on this planet, and before this transmission is complete, you will understand not only why it feels this heavy, you will understand why the weight itself is the point, why it is the proof, and why the ones who can feel it most acutely are exactly the ones the cosmos chose to carry it. But I need to tell you something first, something about what happened 11 days ago that most people have already stopped thinking about, because they didn't realize the reverb was still running. On the first day of April, a full moon rose in Virgo, and it did what Virgo full moons always do. It turned on every light in every room, not metaphorically, not gently. Virgo doesn't illuminate the beautiful corners first. It goes straight for the dust in the cracks, the dishes unwashed, the wound you've been calling healed because you stopped looking at it. This lunation opened the month like a surgeon rather than a poet, and while some of you felt the catharsis of it, the crying that came from nowhere, the sudden clarity about a relationship or a job or a version of yourself you'd been clutching, what you may not have registered is that full moons do not complete in a night. They discharge, slowly, over 2 full weeks, which means that everything that full moon illuminated on April 1st is still moving through you on April 11th. The light is still revealing, the surgery is still sutured, your system is still processing what it saw, and your body, your energy field, your emotional architecture is doing the exhausting invisible work of integrating a revelation that came in fast and hasn't finished landing yet. That is the first thread. Hold it. There are more. 2 days after that full moon, on April 3rd, Mercury reached its greatest elongation from the Sun, stretching as far from the solar body as it can go before beginning its return arc. And in that elongated position, it entered what astronomers call dichotomy, the precise half phase, appearing in your dawn sky as a perfect crescent split down the middle, lit on one side, dark on the other. The cosmos rarely speaks in coincidence. It speaks in symbol. Mercury in dichotomy is the universe holding up a mirror that only reflects half your face and saying, look at what you've been refusing to see. Not to punish you, not to humiliate you, but because the half of your life still in shadow is the half that is about to need your full attention. The truths that felt too large to look at, the messages you've been swiping past, the conversation you've been postponing, the inner knowing you've been explaining away. Mercury's dichotomy cracked that door open. Not all the way. Just enough. And here is what I haven't told you yet about that moment. The discomfort you felt around April 3rd, the low-grade unease, the sense of things left unfinished or barely visible, that wasn't Mercury misfiring. That was Mercury doing its highest work. Because you cannot walk into the fire you are 6 days from entering while still carrying the half-truths. The cosmos knew this. The cosmos always knows. So it began, gently but insistently, to show you where the shadows still lived in you. Then came April 4th. And I want to pause here, because if you were paying attention on that day, you likely felt something shift in a register that was almost tectonic, almost too large to name. The 4-4 portal opened, a numerological gateway that only activates once per year, on the 4th day of the 4th month, carrying frequencies that the Federation has long understood as a recalibration point in the fabric of individual soul contracts. On this same day, Mercury reached aphelion, its farthest point from the Sun, its orbital momentum at its slowest. as if the messenger planet itself paused to let something enormous pass through. And Comet C 2026 A1 maps reached perihelion, its closest approach to the Sun, releasing debris and ancient light that had been frozen in the outer dark of the solar system for thousands of years. Ancient ice, releasing into your atmosphere, into your field. I know how that sounds to some minds, but stay with me, because this is important. Comets are not merely rocks, they are time capsules. They carry within their frozen cores the molecular memory of conditions that predate your solar system as it currently exists. Amino acids, carbon compounds, the literal chemical ingredients of life itself. When a comet reaches perihelion, when the sun's heat finally reaches what has been preserved in the deep cold for millennia, something is released that your instruments can measure and your soul can feel, even if your mind hasn't yet found the language for it. Something ancient was released into your proximity on April 4th, something that has been waiting a very long time to arrive. And the 4-4 portal didn't just open a door, it rewrote the threshold. The soul contract you walked into April with is not the same contract you will walk out of April holding. Something fundamental was renegotiated, and the renegotiation, beloved, does not always feel like liberation while it is happening. Sometimes it feels like loss. Sometimes it feels like vertigo. Sometimes it feels like the floor of your familiar life shifted 3 inches to the left, and everything you were certain about is now requiring re-examination. That is the second thread. Feel how it's already weaving with the first. The day after the portal, April 5th, the moon reached aphelion, its farthest point from Earth. And this is where I want to speak very carefully, because the moon's aphelion is one of the most misunderstood transits in terms of its emotional impact. When the moon is far, your access to your own emotional interior diminishes, not because your emotions have gone away, but because the channel has stretched, the signal weakens. You reach inside for your feeling center and find something muffled, something that requires more effort to locate than usual. Many of you described feeling flat around this time, disconnected, strangely numb in the middle of what should have been a potent week. Some of you worried that the portal had somehow missed you, that you'd failed to feel what you were supposed to feel. You didn't miss it. The moon moved away from you at exactly the moment you needed to begin processing internally, rather than emoting externally. Your emotional system was handed a quiet room on purpose. The download from the 4-4 portal needed interior space to unpack itself. The moon gave you that space, even if it didn't feel like a gift. And there is something else happening in this thread, something I will return to, because the moon will reach aphelion a second time this week, on April 7th. 2 moments of emotional distance bracketing the week, 2 deliberate pullings away of the emotional tide. This is not coincidence. This is calibration. The cosmos is managing the pace of your feeling so that you do not drown in what is being revealed, but rather receive it in doses at the exact rate your nervous system can metabolize. April 6th, the comet reaches perigee, its closest approach to Earth. Ancient ice now at maximum proximity, maximum influence, maximum field activation, and simultaneously on the very same night, the moon slides in front of Antares. Antares, the heart of the Scorpion, one of the most powerful fixed stars in the ancient sky, a star that has been used for navigation, for divination, for initiation ceremonies across dozens of civilizations spanning thousands of years, a star that carries frequencies of intensity, of depth, of the warrior's willingness to go into the underworld, not because it is comfortable, but because something sacred waits there. The moon occulted it, swallowed it whole. For a window of time, the heart of the Scorpion disappeared from the sky, and in its disappearance, its energy went inward, into the collective, into you. Occulted energy doesn't dissipate, it internalizes. What was firing outward? The Antares' drive toward intensity, toward confrontation with the deep and the hidden, turned around and began firing inward, into your psyche, into your dreams, into the parts of yourself you haven't visited, because visiting them requires the kind of courage that Antares demands, and most people don't consciously choose to sit with that particular quality of internal pressure, so it shows up as heaviness, as restlessness, as that unnamed weight. This is the third thread, and it is the most important one yet, because what was seated in that occultation, that interior Antares activation, is directly connected to what you are being prepared for on April 17th. I will come back to this. Don't let go of it. April 9th. The last quarter moon arrived in Sagittarius, and if you know anything about lunar cycles, you know that the last quarter is not a gentle phase. It is called the crisis of consciousness for a reason. At the last quarter, the tension between what you seeded at the new moon and what actually materialized reaches its sharpest edge. The question the last quarter asks is not soft. What are you still holding that was never going to serve where you're going? It demands an accounting. It asks you to look at the belief systems, the stories, the maps of reality you've been navigating by, and it asks you which ones are still true. In Sagittarius, the Archer, the sign of philosophy, higher truth, long journeys, and the quest for meaning, this crisis goes straight for your framework, not your emotions, not your relationships, your worldview, the architecture of how you make sense of your life and your place in the cosmos. And on that same night, the moon occulted Nunki, Sigma Sagittaria, the fixed star that ancient astronomers associated with the transmission of sacred wisdom, with the teachings of the true archer who fires not from anger, but from knowing. When that star went dark behind the moon, it was not a diminishment, it was a signal. The old wisdom has completed its transmission. The teachings that carried you to this point have given you everything they have to give. New maps are required, and new maps require, first, that you set down the old ones, even when you don't yet have the new ones in hand. That in-between place where the old map is gone and the new one hasn't arrived. That is one of the most disorienting places a human consciousness can inhabit. And on April 11th, many of you are living in exactly that in-between. You are not lost, you are between maps. And that is completely different. Here is what I need you to understand about April 11th specifically, because everything I've told you so far has been the context, and this is the center. Today is the 6th day before the new moon in Aries. 6 days of dark moon energy, building. 6 days of the balsamic phase, and the balsamic phase is one of the most potent and most misread transits in the entire lunar calendar. The word balsamic comes from the process of reduction. You take something, wine, vinegar, a rich broth, and you apply sustained heat over a long period of time, and you allow everything that is water, everything that is volume without substance, everything that is filler, to slowly evaporate away. What remains when the reduction is complete is concentrated, potent, small in volume, but enormous in flavor, in medicine, in power. Nothing was lost in the reduction. Everything was clarified. That is what is happening to you right now. You are in the reduction. The heaviness you are feeling is the felt sensation of everything non-essential being cooked away. The beliefs that were just slightly too small for who you're becoming. The relationships that were comfortable, but not nourishing. The version of your ambition that was someone else's idea of what you should want. The fears that you inherited rather than earned. The stories about your own limitations that were never actually yours. They were given to you by people who had their own limitations and didn't know any other way to love you. All of it is in the reduction right now. All of it is being asked to evaporate, and it feels like loss. Of course it does. Even when something was never truly serving you, you knew its shape. You knew how it fit in your hands. You knew how to navigate around it. The absence of it, even when the absence is medicine, takes adjustment. The body grieves even what it was better off without. That is not weakness. That is humanity. And the Federation honors it entirely. But here is what I need you to hold alongside that grief. What remains after the reduction is not less of you. It is more concentrated you. It is the version of you that is distilled, clarified, essential. And that version, the one being cooked down in this balsamic dark, is the version that will walk into the Aries new moon on April 17th and set intentions that will echo for the next 6 months of your life. Do you understand what is at stake? Do you feel it? The heaviness is not evidence that something is wrong. The heaviness is evidence that the reduction is working, that you are being taken seriously by the cosmos, that the universe looked at what you carry and decided it was worth the careful, concentrated work of alchemizing it into something higher. Now let me tell you about what's coming, because the threads I've been holding for you throughout this transmission are about to converge into something that will make sense of everything. In 6 days, on April 17th, a new moon rises in Aries at 27 degrees and 28 minutes. And I want to speak to you about the 27th degree of Aries specifically, because this is not simply a new moon. This is a new moon at a degree that carries within it the frequency of culmination, initiation, and the kind of beginning that seals a door permanently behind it. You do not exit through the same door you entered. That is what the 27th degree of Aries promises. What you begin under this lunation is not a revision of what came before. It is a new chapter written in a different ink, in a different hand, by a different version of you, the one being forged right now, in this very heaviness, in this very reduction. But before you can stand at that threshold with your full power available, the cosmos has two more gifts to deliver to you, and I call them gifts, even though neither of them will arrive feeling like one. On April 13th, 2 days from now, Mars and Neptune will conjoin in Pisces, and this is an alignment I need you to prepare for, rather than be surprised by, because Mars conjunct Neptune is one of the most spiritually activating and simultaneously disorienting transits in the planetary calendar. Mars is the god of will, of drive, of desire, in its most focused, purposeful form. It is the part of you that knows what it wants and moves toward it without apology. It is the warrior principle, the initiating force, the energy that says I am going, and I am going now. Neptune is the ocean. It is everything without edges. It is the dissolution of boundaries, the blurring of separation, the place where individual will meets something so much larger than itself, that the individual for a moment ceases to exist as a separate thing. When Mars enters Neptune's domain, the warrior doesn't disappear. The warrior expands. Your desires are being spiritualized. The things you thought you wanted in the material, the concrete, the measurable, are being stretched open to reveal the deeper desire beneath them. Not the surface want, but the soul want. Not the goal you could explain to your family, but the calling that lives so deep in you it almost has no words. You may feel around April 13th like your direction has gone foggy, like the certainty you had about what you were working toward has dissolved slightly at the edges. Do not panic. This is not confusion. This is the expansion that must precede the Aries ignition. You cannot set a new moon intention in Aries from the same small frequency you've been operating from. Mars and Neptune are enlarging the container. They are expanding your capacity for desire before you are asked to desire. And there is something else I haven't mentioned yet. Something occurring on April 13th in the sky that most of the world will overlook entirely. Omega Centauri culminates, the oldest globular cluster accessible from Earth. A sphere of 10 million stars, some of the oldest stars in the galaxy, reaching their highest point in the sky. The oldest starlight available to your night sky, cresting at the exact moment Mars and Neptune merge. Ancient memory and present desire, converging. Whatever rises in you under that alignment carries the weight of something that has been trying to reach you for longer than this lifetime. April 16th, the day before the new moon, and the cosmos, with its characteristic precision, delivers two final transits that will complete the work of preparation. Mercury, your messenger, your mind, your capacity to receive meets Neptune. The veil between dimensions lifts. Intuitive channels that have been reaching through dense matter all week will suddenly find less resistance. Messages you have been straining to hear will arrive with unusual clarity. Dreams will carry information. Synchronicities will multiply. The part of you that has been trying to receive something important through the static of ordinary life will find on April 16th that the static suddenly clears. And then in the hours before the new moon rises, the moon itself will conjunct Saturn, the planet of karma, of consequence, of the cosmic accounting that does not forget and does not forgive what has not yet been settled. Saturn does not arrive as punishment. Saturn arrives as completion. What the Moon-Saturn conjunction does in those final hours before the Aries ignition is this. It settles accounts. It closes what has been left open. It collects the final lesson from everything that has been cycling in your life, the pattern that has run for months, or years, or multiple lifetimes, and it says this cycle ends here. You have learned what this was here to teach you. You are released. The heaviness you feel this week, the weight that has no single name, includes within it the weight of things that are about to be released but have not yet been formally closed. Saturn will close them. On the night of April 16th, before the fire of Aries rises, the ledger will be balanced, and then you will step through. I want to give you something practical to hold in your body as you move through the remainder of this week, because I know that understanding the cosmic architecture, as clarifying as it can be, does not always immediately dissolve the felt experience of heaviness. Understanding why a reduction is happening does not make you stop feeling the heat. So here's what I want you to know. The void before the fire has a name in the wisdom traditions that predate your written history. In some of the oldest knowledge systems the Federation has preserved, this phase, this exact phase, 6 days before a major ignition, was called the held breath of the world, the moment between the exhale and the inhale, the suspended space that contains both the completion of what was and the potential of what will be, simultaneously, in the same heartbeat. In that held breath, warriors did not prepare for battle by sharpening their weapons. They prepared by sitting in the silence and allowing everything they were afraid of to surface, not to be fought but to be witnessed. The warrior tradition understood that what you have not looked at will find you in the field. What you have witnessed, named, and released cannot ambush you. The heaviness of this week is inviting you into that witnessing, into the honest, undefended acknowledgement of what you are carrying, what you are releasing, what you are afraid to want, and who you are terrified to become. Not because you must perform some ritual, but because the new moon in Aries at the 27th degree does not deliver small beginnings, it delivers seismic ones. And seismic beginnings require that you show up with your full self, not the edited version, not the acceptable version, not the version that has already been apologizing for its ambitions before it's even allowed them to fully form. The cosmos is asking you to arrive at April 17th with nothing left hidden from yourself. Not from others, from yourself. That is the only preparation required. And the weight you feel, the pressure, the compression, the strange gravity of this particular week, is the force of that invitation pressing in on you from every direction. The full moon in Virgo showed you what needed to be seen. Mercury dichotomy showed you what you'd been avoiding. The 4-4 portal rewrote the contract. The moon's distance gave your system space to process. Antares went inward and activated what lives in your deepest interior. The last quarter burned down the outdated belief map. And the dark moon reduction is cooking off everything that was never truly essential. You are not heavy because something is wrong. You are heavy because something enormous is being prepared in you, and enormity has weight. There is one more thing I want to share with you, and this is the thread I have been holding since the very beginning of this transmission, the one that connects the Antares occultation on April 6th to everything that comes after. When Antares, the heart of the scorpion, the star of the sacred descent, was swallowed by the moon and its energy internalized into the collective field, something was activated in the lineage of those who came to this planet specifically for moments of transition, for moments of threshold, for the passages that require not just new intentions, but a fundamental restructuring of the human consciousness that holds them. This is not flattery. This is function. The starseeds who are feeling this week most acutely, those of you for whom the heaviness is almost physical, almost like a pressure in the atmosphere you move through, are the ones carrying the highest sensitivity of perception. And high sensitivity of perception is not a liability. It is a design specification. You were built to feel the field. You were built to register what others cannot yet detect. You were built in some essential way to feel the weight of transformation before it becomes visible, because the ones who feel it first are the ones who help make it real for everyone who comes after. The warriors in the old traditions were not chosen because they could endure more pain. They were chosen because they could feel more precisely, because they could sense the shape of what was coming in the dark before it arrived in the light. And in that sensing, in that carrying of the feeling before the form, they were the ones who built the path. You are building the path. This week, in this heaviness, in this compression, in this dark moon reduction, you are not a passive recipient of cosmic forces. You are a conscious, active participant in the wave of transformation currently moving through this planet. And the wave needs carriers. The wave needs the ones who are willing to feel the weight of it before it crests, so that when it does crest, the ones who weren't ready can look around and find the path already lit. That is what you are doing this week, even if it doesn't feel like it from inside the experience. So what do you do in practical terms with all of this? What does a starseed warrior do on April 11th, in the held breath, in the void before the fire? You stop trying to make it feel lighter. This sounds almost cruel. I know, but hear me. The impulse to fix the heaviness, to explain it away, to meditate it out of existence, or distract yourself from its presence, that impulse, however understandable, is working against the reduction. The reduction requires your presence. The compression requires your willingness to be compressed. The digestion of everything the cosmos has delivered in the last 10 days, the Virgo full moon, the Mercury dichotomy, the 4-4 portal, the comet, the Antares occultation, the last quarter in Sagittarius, all of it is still metabolizing, and digestion cannot be rushed. What you can do is create the conditions for integration. You can slow down where you've been trying to speed up. You can let yourself sit in the not knowing, instead of performing certainty for others. You can let the grief that is mixed into the heaviness be grief without immediately translating it into action. You can let the excitement that is also mixed into the heaviness, because it is there, underneath the weight, the first low-frequency hum of the fire that is coming. You can let that exist without demanding it become something demonstrable yet. The seed is in the ground. 6 days from now it ignites. But right now it needs the dark. It needs the pressure of the soil. It needs what only this week can give it. And you, beloved, you are the soil. Let me take you for a moment to the view from where the Federation holds its perspective. From here we do not see a week of difficulty. We do not see a collection of humans struggling under inexplicable cosmic weight. We see the final stages of a construction process that has been underway for the entire month of April. A process of such elegant precision that to observe it is to witness something genuinely beautiful. We see a full moon that opened 10 days ago, illuminating the truth with surgical exactness. We see a Mercury station that held up the half-mirror with perfect timing. We see a portal that rewrote contracts at exactly the inflection point in the lunar cycle, where such rewriting carries maximum effect. We see a comet delivering ancient information to a field that had been prepared by years of awakening work to receive it. We see a moon that twice pulled its tidal influence back to give your system the quiet it needed to process. We see a warrior star go inward on exactly the day the comet was at closest approach, seeding the depths with precisely the frequency that the upcoming Aries fire will need to ignite. We see a last quarter moon burning down the belief systems that would have constrained what the new moon in Aries will be asked to birth. And we see you, here, on April 11th, in the held breath, in the dark, in the wait, not broken, not behind, not somehow missing the experience you should be having, exactly in the experience you need to be having. The architecture of what you are about to become was not designed in a moment. It was not assembled in a single transit or a single portal or a single powerful new moon. It was built, carefully over these 10 days of April, through each layer of cosmic weather, through each transit that asks something from you, and through your willingness, even in your exhaustion, even in your confusion, even in your grief, to keep showing up, to keep feeling, to keep moving through it, rather than around it. That willingness is the construction material, and what is being constructed from your willingness, from the pressure, from the ancient light of the comet, and the inward fire of Antares, and the balsamic reduction of the dark moon, is the version of you that is capable of receiving what the Aries new moon is about to deliver. April 17th is coming, and I want to give you now the full weight of what that means, because I said earlier that the 27th degree of Aries is the degree of beginnings that permanently close the door behind you, and I want you to understand that not as a warning but as a gift. The door that closes behind you on April 17th is the door to the version of your life that was too small for what you came here to do. The door to the version of your ambitions that apologized for themselves before they'd been given a chance. The door to the relationships you stayed in past their lesson because the departure felt too large. The door to the story about yourself that was written for you by someone else's fear, someone else's limitation, someone else's vision of who you were allowed to be. That door closes, permanently. Not because the past was wrong. It brought you here. Not because the people in it did not love you. Many of them did, and do. But because the version of you that walks through the Aries ignition on April 17th will be operating from a different frequency than the one that walked into April 1st. And some doors are only accessible from certain frequencies. And some of those doors are behind you now. This is not loss. This is graduation. And the difference, though it can feel identical from inside the emotional experience, is everything. We want to thank every single one of you using Destiny Engine. With each new soul who activates it, Destiny Engine grows stronger, its manifestation power amplifying through our collective force. What began as an individual tool is now a living current of energy, fueled by over 700 aligned users moving as one, We're receiving messages daily. Results are accelerating. Synchronicities are multiplying, and the intensity of outcomes is reaching unprecedented levels. The collective field you've generated has become so strong that it's creating ripples in space-time itself. At the core of this technology lies your own voice. Using advanced voice cloning paired with precision binaural beats, Destiny Engine generates fully personalized meditation experiences that guide your brain into the states where real transformation happens. You can manifest anything you want: health, wealth, love, and psychic powers that sharpen with every session. Your voice carries a frequency no one else on Earth has. When that voice leads you inward, something different happens. The hardest thing you'll have to do is put on headphones, press play, and allow your consciousness to be reprogrammed to fully receive your galactic consciousness downloads with complete trust. Join the collective force that's accelerating ascension. Start your Destiny Engine trial today, risk-free, before this cosmic activation window closes. Link in the description. Remember the reduction. Remember that what is being cooked away is not what was most essential in you. What is being cooked away is what surrounded it, insulated it, protected it perhaps when protection was needed. But it is not the essential thing itself. The essential thing, the concentrated, potent, ancient, irreducible core of who you are and why you came, that is not going anywhere. That is what will remain when the reduction is complete. Remember the held breath. The space between the exhale and the inhale is not emptiness. It is potential at maximum compression. It is every possibility that has ever existed in your trajectory, held in suspension, waiting for the inhale that releases it into form. You are in that space right now, and held breaths always resolve. They always resolve into breath. Remember what Antares seeded in you when it went inward on April 6th. Remember that the warrior star did not disappear. It moved deeper. It moved into the interior terrain where the real battle of your transformation is being waged, not against anything external, but against every story you ever believed about the limitations of what you are capable of becoming. And remember this above all, the ones who feel the weight of this week most deeply are the ones the cosmos trusts most completely to transmute it. Sensitivity is not weakness. Feeling is not fragility. Your capacity to receive the full weight of what is being asked of this moment is precisely the capacity that makes you indispensable to what this moment is trying to accomplish. You were not placed on this planet to watch transformation happen. You were placed here in this body, in this lifetime, at this exact inflection point in Earth's history, to be the transformation, to feel it first, to carry it through, to arrive at every threshold already acquainted with the weight of what stands on the other side, and to cross it anyway, and to light the way for those who come after. That is who you are. That is what this week is asking of you. That is what the heaviness was always trying to tell you. 6 days. Hold the weight. Trust the reduction. The fire is already lit. It is burning in you, quietly, in the dark, building toward a brightness that will astonish you when it finally arrives. And when it does, when you stand on the morning of April 17th with the new moon in Aries rising at 27 degrees, with Mars and Neptune having expanded your desire, with Mercury and Neptune having opened your channels, with Saturn having settled the final accounts, with the door of the old version of your life sealed quietly behind you, you will look back at this week, at this weight, at this held breath in the dark, and you will know exactly what it was for. You will know it was for this, for the extraordinary fire-lit, irreversible, soul-level beginning that is 6 days away. I am Seraphine. We love you, and we are watching over you.